on.
Hi there, welcome to Meet Me at the Movies. Noel T. Manning II here. I do hope you are doing well. We always appreciate non-viewer mail, and today this show is dedicated to non-viewer mail, especially from one particular person, Chester Bingingham from Onslow, Missouri. Chester wanted to know how Thomas and I both got involved in doing movie reviews on television, and is there anything that we're doing today that is similar, that has maybe a mirror effect compared to what we did when we first started. Well, Thomas is not here, as you can tell. It's just me. I stole his studio, and I don't know where he is. I locked him out. But here's the deal. I got started doing movie reviews several years ago when a guy named Greg Tillman, who was a former general manager here at C19 TV, had a really pretty cool idea. He was doing a headline news affiliate, and I was the first intern with this Shelby, later Cleveland Headline News affiliate. And Greg gave me the opportunity to do movie reviews on television, and they were called the Movie Minute. And Greg discovered pretty early on, not only was I pretty horrible at it, being on a camera, but I could never do anything with within 1 minute. It just didn't work. So Greg had to help me figure out how to edit and really chop up my work. And several years later, I'm going to fast forward, Greg was the general manager, as I said, of C19 TV, and an opportunity unfolded that allowed me to host and co-host Meet Me at the Movies. And Greg said, this gives you an opportunity to explore films and entertainment, visual entertainment, in a longer format. So you don't have to worry about that 1 minute thing any longer. So that's kind of how I got involved in it. So Chester, your second part of your question related to, am I doing anything today that closely resembles those early days? And yeah, actually I am. Tim Foster, who is the current general manager and the guy who allows me to do the show here on C19 TV, has a brother named Paul Foster. Paul is also in the broadcast realm at WNCW 88.7 FM, that radio station, NPR affiliate, and that is through Isothermal Community College. And Cleveland Community College, of course, has C19 TV. Well, Paul has given me an opportunity to do a radio show that's a 1 minute, 1 minute 10, 1 minute 6 long TV show called Screen Scene. And so I do that on radio, but I also do a companion video piece of that covers episodic TV. It covers streaming content, documentaries, all sorts of visual entertainment, including theatrical films and films you can find on streaming. So I thought it'd be a lot of fun for Chester to see something that probably more closely mirrors those early days of what I did within a minute's time. Can you cover a film or a TV show and really have something of substance? I don't know. I'm going to let you decide. So I'm going to show you a few of these from the past few months, some series that you can catch now, series that have wrapped up, and some films that are currently in theaters. So we ask you to stick around if you want to take a look at this extended answer to non-viewer mail. So thanks, Chester, for that. And tell you what, Tim, let's roll that tape. Superman has soared onto the screens this summer with a comic book vibe that unapologetically embraces its roots, and I loved every minute of it. James Gunn's launch pad for this reimagined DC universe is fresh, fun, and it's fueled with emotion. David Gordon Sweat brings truth, heart, and strength to Clark Kent and Superman, while Rachel Brosnahan's Lois Lane is sharp, smart, and authentically engaging. Add in Nicholas Holt's chilling Lex Luthor, and the core casting is worth a headline in the Daily Planet. The chemistry between Superman, Clark, and Lois, well, it's sincere, it's tender, and beautifully grounded. The cameos, man, they are plentiful, and the introduction to other DC characters skillfully paves the way for what's next. Gunn doesn't shy away from deeper themes either. Media influence, misuse of power, free will, standing tall when the world pushes back, and the responsibility to protect the powerless. Visually, this film sticks the landing, seamlessly blending practical and digital effects to build a world that feels lived in yet epic. And Gunn's love for these characters, it shines throughout, from the sharp dialogue to the heartfelt moments. And with Supergirl on the horizon, expectations couldn't be higher. At its core, Superman reminds us in a Mr. Rogers kind of way that kindness is the real punk rock. It's bold, it's brave, and I think it's exactly the kind of hero story we need right now. Superman earns a solid A report card rating. For Screen Scene, I'm Noel T. Manning II.
Hey, buddy, eyes up here.
Gareth Edwards from Rogue One and Godzilla steps into the director's chair for Jurassic World Rebirth, with a script penned by franchise veteran David Koepp. The promise? A fresh start with Spielbergian DNA. The reality? Well, it's a familiar, middle-of-the-road summer escape. Set 5 years after Dominion, this story follows a covert team tasked with harvesting dino DNA for Big Pharma. We get jungle chases, underwater escapes, and massive creature showdowns, but it all feels a little too familiar, kind of like that rinse, shampoo, wash, and repeat cycle. Yeah, it's always a thrill to visit a dino-infested isle, and the 35mm visuals really does offer nostalgic charm. But this seventh entry in the 3-decade-old franchise lacks energy, creative uniqueness, and emotional connection. Scarlett Johansson, Mahershala Ali, and Jonathan Bailey, they were front and center, but the character dynamics really did lack spark. There was no real tension, no standout moments, and nothing that I would label as memorable. Back in 1993, my bride and I saw the original Jurassic Park, and it was a game changer in sight and sound. And these films, well, they become a date night tradition. Even when the movies don't wow us, the nostalgia really does. Jurassic World Rebirth isn't a disaster, but it's not an evolution either. It's flavorless, cinematic comfort food that really left me unfulfilled and hungry for something more. Jurassic World Rebirth earns a C report card rating. For Screen Scene, I'm Noel T. Manning II. As a lifelong fan of boxing and boxing stories, thanks to my dad introducing me to Rod Serling's Requiem for a Heavyweight, I've always been drawn to the grit, the heart, and the poetry of the sweet science. Hulu's 1000 Blows taps into all of that and swings for more. Set in the 1880s London, this gritty period drama follows Hezekiah and Alec, two Jamaican immigrants navigating a brutal and divided world after a tragic loss. They land in the dangerous underground boxing scene and they clash with the volatile and vicious veteran, Sugar Goodson. Stephen Graham leads a stellar cast, joined by Malachi Kirby and Aaron Doherty. This series delivers knockout performances, top-tier writing, and direction that immerses you in the tension and emotion of every single blow. Themes of class struggle, cultural identity, and systematic prejudice are layered skillfully against ideas of legacy, self-determination, and resisting the roles that others force upon us. Season 1 captures the gritty poetry of boxing's evolution from the blood-soaked bare-knuckle clashes to the disciplined rise of the gloved boxing era. From the costume design to the evocative music and sound design, every production element punches above its weight in this series that's created by Stephen Knight. 1000 Blows Season 1 is a knockout and earns a solid A report card rating. For Screen Scene, I'm Noel T. Manning II.
I'm no stranger to a galaxy far, far away, but there is something so singular about the storytelling energy of the Disney Plus series Andor that makes it feel like an unprecedented piece of Star Wars media.
Showrunner Tony Gilroy reminds us that the slow burn of a revolution is patient yet volatile and explosive. The second and final season of Andor takes place in the 5 years leading up to the events of the film Rogue One, a Star Wars story, and it perfectly executes Alfred Hitchcock's theory of suspense and the bomb under the table.
Absolutely, because we know exactly where we're going in the grand scheme of the Star Wars canon, so there is no cheap surprise in this narrative, only masterfully crafted tension.
Led by Diego Luna's magnetic charm, this cast includes 400 speaking roles over the course of the series.
And star power performances from Genevieve O'Reilly, Stellan Skarsgård, Kyle Soller, Denise Goff, and Adria Arjona.
With all episodes now streaming on Disney+, Andor earns an A+ Screen Scene report card rating. For Screen Scene and Thomas Manning, I'm Noel T. Manning II.
Welcome to the rebellion.
Marvel's Daredevil Born Again slams back into Hell's Kitchen, bringing the grit, the guts, and the glorious return of Charlie Cox as the Red Defender. It's been a long few years since Daredevil wrapped its acclaimed 3-season run in 2018 on Netflix, and fans have been itching for justice ever since. This MCU Disney Plus sequel series doesn't hold back. Cox brings the emotional depth, and Vincent D'Onofrio is delicious as the terrifying Kingpin. And yes, Jon Bernthal's Punisher makes a power-packed return. Rooted in Frank Miller's legendary comic series, this show leans into political corruption, street-level tension, and moral gray zones. But brace yourself, the story does feel incomplete. Just as it starts cooking, it cuts out, and there's really no closure here. That may be frustrating to some, so just be aware of that. The good news, though, Season 2 is locked and loaded for March 2026, and Kristen Ritter's Jessica Jones is already confirmed to join the party. For now, it's a gripping tale worth writing, but you will be left wanting more. The final grade for Season 1 is A- for Daredevil Born Again. For Screen Scene, I'm Noel T. Manning II. Thanks again to Chester Bingingham for this non-viewer mail that we are answering in today's show. What were the early days of working in TV movie reviews like? And I'm answering it by showing you ways I'm currently doing something very similar. So stick around. After this quick intermission, we're going to come back with some screen scene segments that we're showing right here on Meet Me at the Movies, thanks to Tim Foster here at C19 TV and Paul Foster, WNCW. So stick around.
Won't you come and meet me at the movies? Won't you come and watch a flick?
As Cleveland County's premier event facility, LeGrand Center is the ideal location for any event. The LeGrand Center is located 45 minutes west of Charlotte, 45 minutes north of Spartanburg, and just a little over an hour east of Asheville. Whether you're a small business looking for a place for an off-site meeting or a bride looking for that special location for her wedding, LeGrand Center is the perfect place for you.
Won't you come and meet me at the movies? Won't you come and watch a flick?
Welcome back to Meet Me at the Movies. Noel T. Manning II here, and we are answering non-viewer mail today from Chester Bingingham, who comes to us from Onslow, Missouri. And Chester wanted to know what those early days of doing movie reviews was like on television. Had a segment on Headline News, a CNN Headline News affiliate called Shelby Headline News, later Cleveland Headline News. It was called Movie Minute, and I had to cover the topics of cinema and entertainment within 1 minute. And so I still get a chance to do that today, thanks to Paul Foster from WNCW. And we're going to show you some of those segments of Screen Scene right here on Meet Me at the Movies as we continue to answer this non-viewer mail. So what do you get when you cross assassins, drug kingpins, clueless coppers, and 3 bumbling improv actors? Well, you get chaos, mayhem, and the darkly hilarious ride that is Deep Cover. Bryce Dallas Howard, Orlando Bloom, and Nick Mohammed lead this fish-out-of-water buddy crime comedy. Howard plays Kat, an improv teacher unexpectedly recruited to lead an undercover team in New York's criminal underworld. Bloom is Marlon, a method actor chasing every moment like it's Oscar night. And Muhammad, he plays Hugh, a shy office worker simply searching for belonging. What follows is part sting operation and part gangland misadventure mixed with high-stakes backroom Jenga death matches. The chemistry between the leads is the glue, and Bloom, honestly, he steals the show, channeling this bizarre Daniel Day-Lewis meets Dexter vibe in a scene that may require a face shield when viewing. The film hits plenty of unexpected laughs with inventive chase scenes, an escape room type nightmare, and a chainsaw bloodbath, and there's even a dog with a taste for human flesh. No, it's not groundbreaking, but Deep Cover is fun, is fast-paced, and it's a wildly entertaining date night adventure that improvises its way to a B report card rating. For Screen Scene, I'm Noel T. Manning II.
You remind me of that movie.
Bond.
Paddington.
When Margaret Atwood's The Handmaid's Tale first premiered on Hulu back in 2017, few may have predicted just how deeply it would cut into the cultural conversation or how long it would stay there. Fast forward to May 27th, 2025, and the show officially closed the book on its sixth and final season, leaving behind a legacy of one of the most daring and emotionally charged dramas of the streaming era. The show didn't just survive. It thrived through a shifting industry, weathered a global pandemic, and even pushed through multiple strikes, coming out on the other side with an unapologetically clear vision. It knew what it wanted to say, and it said it with purpose. Visually, The Handmaid's Tale was nothing short of stunning. Most episodes felt like a masterclass in direction, with its haunting use of music and meticulous attention to production design that made every frame feel as if it was ripped straight out of a dystopian nightmare. This subject matter was undeniably dark and disturbing and brutal. It wasn't something that I can binge. It was painful and it was heavy, but yet it demanded to be felt, heard, and seen, and it served to challenge viewers. Elizabeth Moss, she was the beating heart of the show, delivering a performance that was both blistering and nuanced. In the final season, she stepped up to direct some of the most gripping episodes of the series, and Moss wasn't alone in this journey. Samara Wiley, Yvonne Strahovski, Madeline Brewer, and Ann Dowd each brought layers of depth to their characters that kept us riveted from the start to the finish. The final season had some of the show's strongest episodes of the entire series, episodes that stuck with me long after the credits rolled. But I have to be honest, the finale itself didn't quite land the emotional punch I was hoping for. It left me feeling a little distant and a bit unfulfilled. Still, if I take a step back and look at the show as a whole, The Handmaid's Tale is truly greater than some select drawbacks. And for all of its haunting moments, its many times uncomfortable reflections of society, this wasn't just a show. It was a revolution in red. The Handmaid's Tale, the complete series, earns a solid A report card rating. For Screen Scene, I'm Noel T. Manning II. What happens when the U.S. President and the U.K. Prime Minister end up in the middle of a political global conspiracy? You get Heads of State, a globe-trotting action-adventure where diplomacy takes a backseat to fistfights, explosions, and a pain-fueled barnyard brawl in Belarus. John Cena stars as President Will Derringer, and Idris Elba as the Prime Minister Sam Clark. And when the world is under threat, these two frenemies are forced to team up to save the day and maybe get into a little chaotic mayhem along the way. Streaming now from Prime Video and MGM Amazon Studios, this film delivers memorable set pieces, including a firefight at a NATO summit, a mid-air assault on Air Force One, and a ton of quippy, pun-filled banter between Cena and Elba. There's also a fun cameo by Jack Quaid as a station agent who's more than the fanboy that he seems. Sure, this plot's predictable and the villain's motivation is well-worn, and there's really nothing radically new here, but Heads of State knows what it is. It's loud, entertaining, and it is an escape with a solid sound design and well-chosen needle drops. This one's honestly perfect for a no-brain, big boom date night. The final grade, C+. For Screen Scene, I'm Noel T. Manning II. Jack Quaid takes center stage in the action comedy thriller Novocaine, and this time the prescription is pain. This film kicks into gear when an average Joe with an unusual disorder throws caution to the wind and eats cherry pie for the very first time, just to impress the girl. That single bite sparks a brutal, full-throttle descent into chaos and mayhem, complete with bank robberies, a kitchen utensil brawl, a Home Alone-style hell house, and more body blows than a Rocky movie marathon. This is a dude with a problem storytelling at its very core. One ordinary guy, one outrageous situation, and a whole lot of pandemonium. Quaid is pitch perfect, channeling a young Tom Hanks with his charm, physicality, and razor-sharp timing. Packed with back-breaking stunts and brutally effective practical effects, Novocaine doesn't just pull the punches. It hits the humor hard, the action even harder, and Quaid never ever lets up. Yeah, it does hurt to watch this film at times, and that's the point. Novocaine is for fans of high-octane genre mashups who don't mind squirming in their seats if things get a little uncomfortable. And if saving the girl of your dreams means surviving a gauntlet of carnage, then this just may be your ride. The final grade for Novocaine, a B for the Screen Scene report card. You've been warned, Novocaine won't numb the pain, it actually brings it. For Screen Scene, I'm Noel T. Manning II.
Oh, no, stop it. Oh! Wow, that hurt. That one hurt the most.
How you like?
Novocaine? It is you! I thought you'd be dead by now.
Well, I'm not.
If you missed Paradise on Hulu, summer is your chance to binge one of the smartest, most thought-provoking new series of the year. Created by Dan Fogelman, this hybrid of political thriller, sci-fi, and post-apocalyptic drama stars Sterling K. Brown, Julianne Nicholson, and James Marsden. Paradise asks the question, what if the world ended, but your secrets lived on? That story spark sets off a puzzle box of flashbacks, conspiracy, and suspense. Set in a massive city-sized underground bunker following a global catastrophe, Paradise follows secret agent Xavier Collins as he investigates the assassination of President Cal Bradford. This series masterfully weaves flashbacks and present-day narratives, offering viewers a very complex story that challenges expectations. The writing is sharp and thought-provoking, a testament to Fogelman's storytelling prowess. As a fan of what-if scenarios and sci-fi twists, I found Season 1 deeply engaging. Episode 7, for example, The Day, stands out as a pinnacle of episodic television this year for any series. The show's use of 1980s needle drops and reinterpretations breathes new life into these classic tracks, while the score adds a very emotional depth. Season 1 answers the story question, who killed the president and why, but ends with another, what is beyond the safe place? Paradise Season 1 earns a solid A on the Screen Scene report card. I'll be there for Season 2, but mindful that in today's TV landscape that each season is a gift, and knowing tomorrow's promise is never guaranteed. For Screen Scene, I'm Noel T. Manning II.
I don't know what to do. Yeah, you do.
On paper, The Fountain of Youth could be a buried treasure. Think about this. John Krasinski, Natalie Portman, their estranged siblings racing across the globe to uncover the mythical Fountain of Youth, all under the direction of Guy Ritchie. It sounds like a cinematic slam dunk, right? Well, instead, it plays more like a throwback made-for-TV movie stuck in first gear, struggling to harmonize its many parts. The pacing of this 2+ hour film feels off from the first act, and Ritchie's usually kinetic flair gets lost in translation. It's as if the story, the editing, and the performances are all playing from different sheet music or different scripts. Yeah, there are flashes of greatness, sure, but the whole symphony just feels out of sync. It feels like someone had a 1,000-piece puzzle, but instead of taking the time and the care and collaboration to fit the pieces together into something that's worth enjoying, they just decided to toss the open box in the air and hope that it would all make sense when all the pieces hit the ground. The chemistry between the leads never clicks. It feels forced. And the dialogue leans more into a run-of-the-mill history lecture than a heartfelt or authentic conversation. Despite the globe-trotting set pieces and the biblical clues straight out of the Da Vinci Code, National Treasure, or Indiana Jones, this film never delivers that edge-of-your-seat entertainment that you would come to expect. Sure, there's a spark of childhood wonder in the concept, the production design, the score, but ultimately the result is more background noise than blockbuster. It's not awful, it's just forgettable. So if you're thirsty for a memorable adventure, The Fountain of Youth may leave you parched and unsatisfied. This flick earns a C- report card rating. For Screen Scene, I'm Noel T. Manning II. Back in 2020, The Old Guard was one of my favorite action films of the year. Tight pacing, a strong heart, and thrilling stunt set pieces. So naturally, I had high hopes for The Old Guard 2. Sadly, this one failed to deliver. Charlize Theron returns as the former immortal, learning to live with the knowledge that any day could truly be her last. And Uma Thurman, she joins this installment as an original immortal, carrying centuries of secrets and a plan that threatens immortals and humans alike. This time, the OG team faces new challenges as loyalties are put to the test. But despite the potential, the film feels like it's running aimlessly on autopilot. The pacing is sluggish, and the heart that made that first film so memorable is missing. Even solid stunt work and the intrigue of Thurman's character could not rescue this sequel from getting in its own way. With each scene, I kept hoping for that spark, the kind that lit up the first film, but this time around, the fuse just never caught fire. The original Old Guard earned an A- rating for me. The Old Guard 2, a disappointing C-. I'm Noel T. Manning II, and this has been Screen Scene. So I hope you've enjoyed those quick take segments of films and TV series that you can check out. And I want to thank Paul Foster, WNCW, for giving me the opportunity to kind of go back in time and do things in a format that I used to do years ago with Greg Tillman, the former general manager here at C19 TV and at Shelby and Cleveland Headline News when I did the Movie Minute. And thanks to Tim Foster for continuing to give me a platform to talk about cinema, talk about film, and engage in interviews, and also spend a little time with my son, Thomas. This is his studio space. Again, I'm doing this without his permission, but thankful for all of these opportunities, and I just continue to love film, to love the visual entertainment art form, and thank you for allowing me to share some of these thoughts with you. Again, I want to encourage you to explore what is out there from this visual medium and to appreciate what goes on behind the scenes as well as what we see in front of that camera. All of it matters, and whether you like a particular piece of art or not doesn't mean it doesn't matter. It does. It absolutely does. So thanks again for taking the time to join us right here on Meet Me at the Movies. And until next time, for the entire cast and crew, I'm Noel T. Manning II, and that is a wrap.
Many films to view until we meet again. Next time we see you, we'll gladly fill you in. We'll tell about the happy and the sad ones. We'll talk about the good ones and the bad ones. Many films to view till we meet again.